Hey, it's Angie with News OK.
And Sherrel.
And she is our passion for food columnist for the Oklahoman. It is summertime and it is peach season, so we're going to make a peach
sure
pie.
Sure is. The peaches are just getting ripe.
Yay.
The first ones are not freestones. That means that the meat of the peach kind of sticks to the stone, and so they're a little harder to work with. But I thought if you can work with these, you can work with any of them. So I was in a hurry to make a peach pie.
Now we're going to make the crust first.
We're going to make the crust first, and this is my favorite crust recipe. I'm starting with 2 cups of flour. A half cup of that is pastry flour, or cake flour, and I do that so there's not so much gluten. And this is 1 stick, which is a half cup of frozen butter, straight butter, and plus 2 extra tablespoons.
Butter definitely gives it that nice, rich taste, though.
Well, it is, and so if you're going to splurge on peach pie,
you might as well.
Go for the butter. And then I'm going to put the lid on and just pulse. You can't make this same recipe by hand. It doesn't work the same.
Okay.
Let's see what that looks like. Think it's looking good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this back on, and then I've got ice water, and it has to be ice water, really cold.
Okay.
Ice is your best friend if you're making a peach pie, because both in the crust and the filling we use ice, and I'll show you how in just a second. But you want to be sure this water is nice and cold, and I'm just going to keep pouring it until the dough starts to come together.
Okay.
And see how it's now making little crumblies in there, and watch it, here it comes. It's almost ready. Whoa. I don't want to run it too much.
Look at that, okay.
Look at that, and there's our dough. And we will take it, I'll dump it out on this board so you can kind of see carefully, and we'll put this back in here. You can set that over there. And then I'm just going to bring this together, and we'll let the dough chill for just a little bit in the refrigerator to rest. And that's all we need to do. We'll wrap it up with some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for just a little resting time.
All right. Okay, so what are we doing now? This is obviously the peaches.
Right, and you might sort of think of this as the defuzzing. Actually, you don't have to rub the fuzz off. We're just going to, I've dropped the peaches. This is to peel them for the pie.
Gotcha.
And I've dropped them in a simmering pan of water for about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. Okay. Pull it out, and I put it in ice water.
Okay.
And this helps get the peeling right off of them.
Very cool. Very cool.
And I'll show you, I've had some sitting in here.
Okay.
So I'll show you how easy that is. Look at that. It just slips right out.
That is great.
Isn't that a great thing? And then, of course, since these are not freestone peaches, the early ones, they're quite juicy. And so I just start then with my knife, pulling away little sections, I know. And these are so beautiful.
Yeah, they smell good. How
They're
cool.
a garnet peach. They have such a pretty red color on them, so the pie has a little pink,
Look how easy that is.
Too.
That's amazing. Okay, so she's finishing cutting up this last peach.
Yes. There we go. And we have this nice, and look how much juice is there.
I know.
And then I'm going to still add a little bit more. I have a little piece of lemon here.
Okay.
It's juicy too, and I'm going to just use the reamer and get a little bit of the juice out.
Okay.
And then we're going to kind of stir this around to distribute the lemon juice. And this kind of keeps them from turning kind of a darker color. Or you can use fruit fresh if you like. And then I'm going to mix in some cornstarch with some sugar. And these peaches are so sweet. I'm only going to put in about 1/2 cup of sugar. And I have about 1/3 cup of cornstarch to mix together. And then I'm going to stir that into the peaches. And then we'll add some seasonings that go nicely with the peaches. Doesn't have to be perfectly combined, but I'm just going to put this in.
Oh, very nice.
Stir that around. To coat, I'm going to add a few shakes of cinnamon while Angie's stirring. A few shakes of ginger, And you can put more or less if you like. If you don't like
good.
the cinnamon, you don't have to. What I really love with peaches is a little bit of almond extract. And so I'm just going to put about a half teaspoon in there. And that just sort of pushes up the flavor a notch. And I love that. Now see how juicy it is.
I know.
And I have a solution for that, but I'll
that
show
sounds
you
good.
when we'll need to roll out our dough and we're ready to go.
Okay. Okay, so obviously this has been in the
It's
refrigerator.
had its little nap. And so we're going to take this and I'm just going to start rolling it this way. And then I turn it just a little bit each time, and that helps.
Yeah.
So that way it's even, yes. And it keeps your pie from shrinking back in the pan. If you've ever had, I used to make pies and not really know this technique. I would just roll it out as best I knew. But if you can turn it a little bit, let me show you this nifty way to move the pie dough. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to shake some of that excess off.
Nice.
And I'm just going to roll that over there. And we're going to take some of our filling and put inside of it.
Okay.
And we may not need all of this. We can just kind of see.
And we bring the peaches over.
Bring the peaches over. Now these are so juicy, they'd be great for a cobbler because you have it juicy. And I love a juicy pie, so that when you cut it, half the filling runs out, but then you scoop it up with a spoon when you serve it. So I'm going to start bringing this up like so. Oh. It looks like a little bundle.
And you just kind of press it together with your fingers?
Yeah, you just kind of come up. And you want to not let it sag down. You just kind of bring it up here. And see, this is kind of irregular around the edge, but that's okay. We're going to stick that together. That's part of how that works. And so here's this funky dough in the air, and it goes like this. And it bakes beautifully. For crust lovers, they'll love this version. My husband loves the crust.
I bet. So how long in the oven?
Well, you can do in the oven about 45 minutes, I would say, but I started at 425 for about 25 minutes, and then I cut it down to 350 to finish it off. And I'm just going to brush a little egg wash
there you go.
on this. And
how does that help?
well, it makes the crust just sort of glisten.
Oh, nice.
And if you'll get us that turbinado sugar in the blue sack there, up on the shelf, there we go. We'll put some of that on it. And you don't have to totally coat it, but it just finishes it off. And then we'll sprinkle a little sugar on that crust. Now I could also, since I have the little almond cake in here, I could also take some almonds and put them, on this with it to finish it off. Or you can bring it even further over. Either way.
Does the sugar help is it different than regular sugar?
This sugar doesn't melt into as fast. You still got the definition of the little grains of sugar.
Very nice.
And I like it, and it's nice. It has a little bit more of a molasses-like flavor to it.
Oh,
And then it goes in the oven.
All right.
Okay, you might notice that this is a little different result.
It looks so good.
Yes, well, I had a little more time last night.
And made this one.
And what I did, I just I cut the crust about an inch below the level of the edge of the plate.
Wow.
Then rolled it under, and then I just crimped it. And then I had a bunch of trimmings out here, so I just put them any old way.
It's beautiful.
And so I call it like a peach ribbon-topped pie.
That's so nice.
So
Look
it
at
works
this gorgeous
great.
thing. Oh,
So
goodness.
great Oklahoma peaches, which are ready right now, and these are the sunrise.
Yeah, it is
variety,
beautiful.
so.
Well, you can find this recipe in the Oklahoman in the Life section under Sherrel Jones' Passion for Food column. And I can tell you, it's going to be worth it. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sherrel.